Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my opinion slash review of The Acolyte episode 7. First, an apology. I did post this, or what I thought was a review, but I screwed up the audio on it, and basically it was a like 20 some minute video with no audio and a single still image. So I apologize for that. I was rushing to get it on. Again, I guess everybody wants to get their opinion out the day of, which was Tuesday for this episode. And in my rush, I didn't do proper uh, testing to make sure that the audio was there. Anyways, let's get on with the review. So, what did I think of the episode? Uh, Same shit, different day. It's marginally better than some of the other episodes. Um, Basically, we had been more or less promised at the end of episode 6 that finally, we would find out what Squid Game Jedi's big secret is about what happened with the witches on the witch planet in episode 3. And after watching episode 7, I still don't necessarily know that much more, other than we do see this basically the same episode 3 with some stuff tacked on the end, but it's all just from the Jedi perspective rather than from the witches and the twins perspective. So, yeah, they played the episode and still don't necessarily know why Bad Twin is trying to kill all the Jedis um, that were on that team. Yes, there is, spoiler alert, the mother here on the right gets killed by Soul, Squid Game Jedi. Although it makes, again, the big problem with this episode is the writing is shit. Sorry. Some not bad performances, although the problem with the performances are that they don't make any sense when they occur. People are angry for no reason. People do things for no reason, and it's just does not. Um, you don't, maybe it's wasted on these actresses and actors because they just get garbage dialogue, garbage writing to go from. But so this review is sort of subtitled "Why," and that's basically what's happened when I was watching this. I'm sitting there going, "Why? Why did that happen? Why did this happen? Why did they do that? Why did they?" And there's just that's again how it shows how bad the writing is. There's so many of these questions uh, that pop up during the show. Okay, so we'll basically briefly run through the episode. But again, if you're hoping for sort of resolution in the second but last episode, only marginally. So I have no idea what they're going to do in the 8th episode, the final episode of season 1, because it's just a mess right now. And I can only see that they'll try to squish everything in and leave a big cliffhanger for a second season. And this show does not deserve a second season. I'm sorry. It's not good. But so we'll start off with the start of the episode. We see the Jedi on the Witch's planet. We know it's Witch's planet because it tells us the planet name. And if you go back to episode 3, you'll see the same name used. So the Jedi are. Squid Game is picking up moss and sticking it in a box and pushing buttons. And the Wookie is using a metal detector. I guess he's looking for change on the beach. I don't know why he's doing that, but they gave him something to do. And the Torben, I think, the Jedi that eats the poison, he is basically just feeding stuff into some machine. So why, if they're trying to figure out why this planet, it was supposedly 100 years ago, it was lifeless, And obviously, when they're there, it's full of trees and wildlife and stuff. So um, they're trying to determine if there was a force vergence or convergence or something, which is some mystical thing where to explain a lot of stuff that they don't bother writing properly for. But why they got 4 Jedi's doing this? It's an entire planet. Um, they've been there for 7 weeks. They wouldn't cover like even a hundredth of the planet in that amount of time. Um, but they got 4. So apparently, why are these Jedi's there doing it? Why is Trinity Jedi from the first episode? Why is she there? She's supposed to be a Jedi Master. Why is the Wookiee um, there? Why is her Padawan Torben there? Why is Squid Game there? What? I didn't know the Jedi were a bunch of scientists. They should be on Star Trek or something. But yeah, so they're doing that, and Torben starts whining about he wants to go home. I guess there's no cell service there, or he's got a hot date or something like that. He doesn't understand why they're doing what they're doing, which, again, why would you not tell him the importance of it? Everybody else seems to understand it's important, but this guy does not. So they have a camp out at night, and then the next day they're back at it again, and Torben is still whining about stuff. But they split up, and lo and behold, Squid Game Jedi stumbles across the girls. So you get to see that scene from episode 3 where the two of them are torturing butterflies from Squid Game's perspective. And so he sort of is lurking and peeking out and stuff and kind of creepy, following 2 young girls. And then we see on the left here, Horned Mum. Basically, from episode 3, she tells them that it's dangerous and they need to go back. So Squid Game follows them back to their castle, because that's what it is, a great big stone castle. Why that is not visible from orbit, like, don't they have any probe droids of their own? What, like, that's what makes no sense. Why do they go and they're not too far away because they're able actually to walk from the tree where they're torturing butterflies to, or Soul is at least, Squid Game Jedi is able to walk that far. So he didn't take this. He took the speeder to sort of get there, but he is able to walk. And it's this great big stone structure that you see in episode 3, and it's like you couldn't see that from an orbital survey or something. You had to go down and stick moss into a box. Okay, but so Soul Squid Game Jedi breaks in and he's creeping around again, and he sees a couple of the scenes that we've already seen in episode 3 where the mother witch on the right is sort of showing the Force, and this is where she goes into her spiel about the power of one, the power of two thing, and Soul misinterprets that as the not treating the girls. So totally, totally, like, why is he suddenly so concerned about the twins' safety? When all of his team gets killed by Smilo Ren, he doesn't seem to give a shit to go pick their bodies up or give them any kind of burial or anything like that. So maybe his compassion died during this episode, but he's sort of very, very, without any explanation, is suddenly so convinced that the girls are in danger and that he needs to have Osha as his Padawan, which, again, makes absolutely no sense. Why would that be? Why is it, other than being attracted to a minor? Um, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense that he's suddenly so convinced of everything. And Anyways, he does his recon, and then he goes back and tells Trinity Jedi about what he's found, that he's found people, and that there's witches here potentially, and uh, they need to protect the girls. Okay, so um, they decide that they're going to go visit, so they all four of the Jedi just go tromping off to the witch's castle, and Torben mentions that this must have been an old mining site. So why then is it not on some kind of registry that they would know that this planet that is supposedly dead has a mining thing on it, or did have a mining thing on it, and now, even though that might have been in the past, it's yeah, again, why it makes no sense why they wouldn't have discovered the witches before this. If the witches are trying to hide, they're doing a very poor job of it. Um, so they go in, and you see the same scene that we saw from episode 3, where they're saying that they want to test the girls, and the witches take over Torben, the poisons eating Jedi. You see more about that, but again, it doesn't make huge sense. The Witcher on the right is, you know, well, I know you want to go back to Coruscant, so we can help you do that kind of thing, and it's like, it doesn't. Why is she so easily able to? I mean, they said in the show that you can get in their heads, and it's like, why can you suddenly do this? Anyways, but you see that scene play out more from the Jedi perspective. They do the same resolution where the witches agree to have the girls tested, and you don't see the section where they tell them to cheat so that they will fail. But off they go. The Jedi leave, and next day they show up at the spaceship to have the girls tested. Um, Torben then takes the blood of one of the girls. You never see him take it from another girl, but you have to assume, I guess, that he took it from both girls. And again, Squid Game Jedi is it. Why is he so connected to Osha? Why does he again think that she should be his Padawan? Um, Trinity Jedi basically says, well, she's too old, which we've seen before in the fact that when Anakin was Kwai Jong wanted to take Anakin on, the whole thing, the same thing was he was too old for that. So at least that fits with how the original movies worked. But they're going to consult with the council, and Squid Game is all antsy and worried about everything, and it's again totally, that reaction is just, why is he doing that? It makes no sense why he's doing that. But Trinity Jedi shows up and says, no, the council says leave them alone, the girls alone, we can't take them, that kind of thing. And again, he sort of freaks out about that, or he gets very antsy about that. Torben then is running the blood sample from the two girls, who we assume, and says that their M count is um, abnormally high. Now, I guess the M count is supposed to be metachlorines, which is what they called it in the movies. But now, no, it's M count. And they determined that probably the reason they see that two samples and they're exactly the same, which Torben says that's not possible. How did that happen? And suddenly he decides that to get off the go back to Coruscant, he has to take the girls in. So he jumps on a speeder and goes after them. Why? I have no idea. It makes no sense why he would actually do this. Why he thinks that would get him off the planet. Why he thinks that he can take the girls. But off he goes. So then Squid Game goes chasing after him, leaving the Wookiee and Trinity Jedi behind. So they get to the castle, and this is after May has gone off her rocker, but you see that the horned mother on the left here is the one being mostly the aggressor here, and that she's preparing the witches for battle and all this kind of stuff, and she triggers May to go on a rant, and which again, why would you do that? But I don't know. And they're preparing. They don't even know that the Jedi for sure are coming that night, but suddenly they're preparing for battle. So they're just assuming the Jedi can't wait for the morning to hear the decision on whether Osha can become a Jedi or not. Now, why Osha suddenly wants to be a Jedi when she knows nothing about the Jedi, never heard of them, never knew what they were, but God, she wants to be a Jedi. Why? It makes no sense. I don't understand that. Um, anyways, the witches are all lined up with bows and arrows, and just because they got a red tip on them, you kind of think that maybe if they're these powerful witches, bows and arrows aren't gonna do much against guys with lightsabers, and eventually they get triggered. The Squid Game Jedi is trying to de-escalate and just get the girls, and the mother on the right here has determined that Osha can leave with the Jedi, but she never bothers to say that during their uh, movement towards a fight scene. She just stands there and doesn't say it. So, like, she could have de-escalated in a second by saying, yes, we've agreed that Osha can go with you. May doesn't want to go. Osha does, so May can go. And Squid Game probably would have been happy with that because he gets his Padawan or whatever. But no, they don't do that. Suddenly they're about to fight, and the Torben poison-eating Jedi pulls his lightsaber, and the horned mother, she's going to attack him, and they start shooting. And for some reason, at this point, um, May comes running out because she's set the fire by this point. Why a stone structure would be going up in flames makes no sense either. Why? But anyways, she says, help me, because she set this fire and she doesn't know how to control it. She was trying to stamp it out. Why she thought that would work is beyond me. So the mother on the right here suddenly goes into like a wispy format. What was that for? Why are they doing that? And Squid Game Jedi takes his lightsaber and sticks it in the middle of the misty form of mother here on the right. And gee, finally a lightsaber kills somebody, because in Ahsoka, Sabine can get stabbed, no problem. In Obi-Wan, the Inquisitor can get stabbed a couple times, and two different Inquisitors get stabbed, and that no problem. But here, sticking your lightsaber into a mist, because that's what the one witch turned into, and May starts turning into a mist. Why that is, don't know. But so that stabbing the mist with the lightsaber stops the witch from transforming, and she dies. So there's the one and only real reason why May wants to kill all the Jedi, because she did witness Saul killing one of her mothers. Okay, there's one answer to the question of what's going on that they actually show. And so when that happens, the horny rich witch attacks Squid Game, and he doesn't fight back because he knows he's killed the twins' mother. The Torben, he sits there chopping up arrows, and that's about it until the horny witch, who's been fighting with a stick up till this point, why, who knows, suddenly turns into a vapor, and the castle starts exploding. Why? Other than there was a small fire set in one corner of the building by May when she set Osha's book on fire. Suddenly it's blowing the castle up. Okay. Why that's happening, I'm not sure either. But we have Trinity Jedi and the Wookie Jedi in their spaceship flying over this easily visible castle on the face of this planet. So back to my original thing, why they couldn't do a survey and find the castle. It's lit up; they can actually see it. Um, so again, it doesn't mean it makes no sense. Why are they doing that? But the Wookiee jumps out. They say that will overfly. I can't land. Apparently, they can land because Trinity shows up later. But anyways, the Wookiee gets out, and when the horny witch turns to a mist, suddenly they take over the Wookiee Jedi. So there's the one thing that I actually enjoyed in the episode. Since I heard that there was going to be a Wookiee Jedi, I'd wanted to see that. Up until this point, they didn't have it. Even episode 5, where most of the lightsabers were, he dies off camera, so you don't get to see anything. But at least this, you see a bit of a battle, but it's the Wookiee Jedi being taken over by the witches and fighting the other Jedis. And you see how Torben gets a scar on his face, although nobody really gives a shit about that. So it's the combat with the Wookiee isn't the greatest, but it's entertaining enough, and it was something I wanted to see. I don't blame the actor for it because let's face it, it's like go put on a wool coat and a helmet, and then try to do any kind of thing energetic because he's in a Wookiee costume, clown costume, whatever what you want to say. But again, he shows that he's powerful and all that stuff. And he gets rid of Torben, and he's getting the better of Squid Game Jedi when Trinity shows up, and she jumps on him, and then she is there. He's under the spell of the witches, and she breaks that spell, which all the witches die at this point. Why that happens, I don't know. You tell me there's no way that you could have um, got the Wookiee out of that spell without killing all the witches, but apparently they did. Now, May doesn't know that all these witches die because of that, so it doesn't explain why she wants to kill all the Jedi other than they were there as a group. So, again, it doesn't make any sense. But they decide, well, we'll go get the twins, and Soul runs off to catch the twins. Um, that takes to the scene where the two twins are on the bridge, and Squid Game Jedi is trying to hold the two ends of the bridge up. Why he just doesn't levitate the two like light young women and to safety is beyond me, but he's trying to hold up the bridge and he can't, and eventually he makes a decision to let May fall. Although I don't know how does he know which one's May and which one is Osha. Anyways, he saves one and the other one disappears into the hole. Ultimately, we know that she didn't die. That makes no sense. Why wouldn't she not have died? Okay, whatever. And why are they able to take over the Wookiee? Torben says, well, I've hardened my mind, but he's obviously the weakest of all the Jedi there. So why wouldn't the Wookiee have hardened his mind against being taken over? I guess he didn't think that they could. But again, it's so many questions on this episode that the writing does not answer. Ultimately, the episode ends with Osha being on the ship and Trinity deciding that they're not going to tell the Jedi Council the truth. Squid Game says he is more than happy to go in front of the council and explain everything. But Trinity then's excuse is, well, Osha's had a traumatic event when her mother's died, so do you want to inflict a tribunal on her? It's like, what? It makes no sense. Again, why? Why is that her reason for not telling the Jedi Council? Um, Yeah, again. So many whys. I don't understand, or they don't do a good job of any kind of connecting the other episodes, the lore. They don't explain anything. This episode was supposed to be, Saul or Squid Game Jedi, as I like keep calling him. What happened on the witch's planet? It does kind of tell you what happens in that you see Saul kills one of the witches, and they get OSHA, and that's about it. But the whole, stuff just happens because the script needs it to happen so it can move forward. But it's really, yeah, really poor storytelling, in my opinion. So that's my overview, my review, my run through of the episode. Not particularly good. I mean, I do kind of feel sorry almost now for the actors, in that I just think they're given really poor material to work with. So I can't blame them if they have a bit of a wooden performance. The twins, of course, again, this must be their first acting job because they're horrible in it. That's not nice to say about young people starting out in the acting profession, but again, they don't get much in the way of good material to work with. So, yeah, this is second to last episode, supposed to be tying so many things together. Just the way that they continually pushed it off and off, that Squid Game was supposed to be telling people what happened and didn't in this episode and didn't in the next one and didn't in the next one, and finally we get this very unsatisfying episode with a half-ass explanation of what has happened. So that's what I think of this episode. Stay tuned. I guess next Tuesday I'll have the final episode, and I'm not I'm not really not given much hope that it's going to be the one episode that's going to save this series, because um, yeah, it's it is what it is. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, and again, I apologize for my first posting of being crap. I will definitely verify there's audio on this before I post it. Thanks.